today we are going to be doing a palette bingo of sorts, but I guess before we get into that, I should probably mention that I changed my hair color, as you could see, and of course I did not go to a salon, so I don't want anybody to assume that I did. My sister-in-law is currently living with us, so she did help me, even though none of us really knew what we were doing, but I'd like to think that we did a pretty good job. Does my hair feel the best? Not really, but it's still on my head and my hair is a different color and my roots look okay. So that's all that matters. So I really like it. Let me know how you feel about this color. I think it turned out really good. Like I said, it's not perfect. Like there's definitely spots that, you know, are missing, and also I haven't washed my hair in like 4 days, but I wanted to film something so that my color wouldn't fade before, so I could show you guys the actual color right after putting it on. But I think it looks really good. So I don't think I said in the intro what we were going to do today, but we're gonna do a palette bingo, and how I want to do this is basically the way that I saw Angelica do it this morning. It's so funny. I had the plan to film this last night, and then I woke up this morning and I saw that Angelica had already filmed a video exactly like this. So I will have her video linked down in the description box. She did credit me in that video though for the inspiration to her video, so I guess it's still technically my idea, and I did have this idea before she put up the video, but she kind of beat me to it. But I'm excited anyway. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull up the wheel again. I haven't used my wheel in so long, it's been forever, but I've actually updated it now and I have all of my palettes in my wheel. So what we're gonna do is, I guess we're gonna draw, should we do this in an easy way or a hard way? I guess we're gonna draw 5 palettes, and I think what I want to do is after we draw the palettes, I want to draw one shade from each palette, but instead of swatching them all out and deciding what I want to do, I want to do it one color at a time. So I want to draw the first color and then put the first color on my eyes where I want it, and then go in and draw the second color and so forth. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and pull up the wheel here so we can see which palettes that we have to work with. So if you're wondering what this app is, it's an app called Tiny Decisions, where you can basically put in like whatever category you want and whatever options you want into the wheels. I would highly recommend it if there is anything that you would like to have drawn randomly for you and you can kind of put in your own options. It's just great for that. So let's go ahead and see what eyeshadow palettes we're going to be using. So I'm going to draw them all first and then I'll pull them out and we'll start with the colors. So let's see, the first palette is going to be Strobe Divinity palette. Haven't used that in forever. Let's draw another one here. This is always so exciting. I just love this. Oh my god, Linda Hallberg Spectral palette. Also haven't used that one basically since I did my review on it. What else? Juvia's Place X Fumi. This is like a face slash eye palette, so that'll be interesting. I feel like we have like pretty good colors that are going to go nicely together though. Maybe that's going to throw it off a little bit. Let's draw, is this the last one? I think this is the last one. Or is this 4 or 5? Glaminatrix Sandra Rose palette, one of my favorites. I can't remember if that was 4 or 5. I'm gonna say that that was, wait, 1, 2, 3. I've just lost track right now. Let me just go back and count and see where we're at. Wow, this is starting off great already. Okay, so that was 5 palettes. I've pulled them all out. I will show you, I guess, what they look like in case you haven't seen them all. So first off, we have the Divinity palette by Strobe Cosmetics. They are now called Shroud Cosmetics. They rebranded. This is what the palette looks like. So we have one shimmer, the rest, wait, 2 shimmers and the rest are mattes in this one. And then we have the Linda Hallberg Spectral palette, which looks like this. I just love the artwork on this. It's just so beautiful. Here's what the palette looks like. In this one, there are 4 shimmers and 4 mattes. Next up we have the Fumi and Juvia's Place collab. This is what the palette looks like. So it's a beautiful color story. It's really, really cute. I really like this little palette. We also have the ColourPop Blue Moon palette, which I'm sure you have all seen multiple times before, but this is what the palette looks like. So again, pretty good variety of mattes and shimmers, so I feel like we'll be able to make something out of this. Hopefully I won't get too unlucky. And then lastly, we have the Glaminatrix Sandra Rose palette, which is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It's just so beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by priming my eyes first before we go into the shadows. So I'm going to use my Smashbox Lid Primer in Light here. And then I think I will just do it in the order in which I drew the palette. So we're just going to start with the Divinity palette here. I'm actually going to pull up random.org because it's just easier when I'm going to choose only one number here. So let's just go ahead and pull that up. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you on the screen so that I don't have to edit in all of these because that is going to take forever. Did I draw? I don't think I did. Let's see. Okay, so we have shade number 4, if you can see that. So we're going to use shade number 4 as my first shade. So we got very lucky. This one is called Aphrodite. So what I'm gonna do is I need to figure out where I want to put this, and also keep in mind that I have 4 other shades, but since we got a matte, I think it's pretty safe to put this into my crease as my transition shade, because if I get something darker, I can use it to deepen up this shade with. If not, I can put it on my lower lash line somewhere. I think I'll be okay using this just in my crease. I am going to allow myself to go back in with the colors and make sure that everything is okay after I'm, you know, done putting them all down. I'm not going to just say that I can go in with the colors once, but I am going to place them where I want them to begin with, and then we will kind of take it from there once I put down all of the colors. So I'm actually just going to put this all in my crease here. I'm going to keep it low enough down that if I get another shade that is lighter that I can use to maybe blend this out, I will allow myself to do that. If not, at the end of this, I will just pull it into my crease a little bit more here. So as you can tell, I'm also leaving the outer corner of my eye open so that if I get something darker, I can use it to deepen this up with. So basically, I'm just going to place the color somewhere, and then I can kind of finesse things at the end, but I do want to make sure that I have a lot of the color that I do pick on my eye so that it's not like cheating, you know? So I'm not like just touching my eye a little bit. So let's go into the next palette. That was the Spectral palette by Linda Hallberg. So let's see, does that have 8 shades too? It does have 8 shades. So we're just gonna go ahead and continue here and see what we get in this palette. So did I draw shade number 6? So shade number 6, wow, I think I'm getting very lucky here. So shade number 6 is the shade Occult, so I'm obviously just going to use that to deepen up whatever we have here. And I really like that in the Juvia's Place and Fumi palette, like look at these colors. All of these colors are gonna go so nicely with this look, so I'm kind of hoping that I will get this color or this color because they will be very easy to use. Same with this. Honestly, all of these colors would be great. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Occult in the Linda Hallberg palette here to deepen this up with. I think I'm just going to put it in the outer corner of my eye. I don't think I want to pull it through any further. And then I'm going to take it down to my lower lash line just on the outer corner here. And while I do that, I guess we can answer a question of the day. So today's question comes from Melanie, and she says, how long does an eye look take? How much do you edit out that we don't see? I feel hopeless that it takes an hour or more for simple looks. It really depends what I'm doing. Usually at the end of a look, I will have about 40 minutes of footage. Usually it takes me about half an hour to get to the point where I am putting on my liner and mascara, and then I do that off camera. And since my camera always shuts off after filming for 30 minutes, that's usually the time where I do my liner and mascara, and then I come back and I spend another 10 minutes just like talking about the outro and like doing the rest of my face. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but I would say from start to finish, like doing my whole makeup, if I'm filming the eye part, it would probably take me like an hour to an hour and a half, usually more like an hour and a half if I'm filming because of, you know, periods like this where I'm just talking. But if I'm doing my makeup and I'm not filming it, it's rare that it takes me more than an hour to do a full face. I feel like I'm pretty quick when it comes to doing my makeup. It obviously depends. If I'm doing a very, very simple smoky eye without a lot of blending and just a couple of colors, it can probably take me 45 minutes to do a whole face of makeup. And I don't know, it just depends on my mood too. Sometimes I don't want to spend forever on my makeup, whereas other days I want to take as much time as I, you know, can to do my makeup because it's just relaxing and I really enjoy it. So yeah, it really, really depends. I mean, obviously I do edit out quite a bit because I don't want my videos to be boring. Like, you don't need to see me do the same thing on both eyes, if that makes sense. So sometimes I will make sure that I don't talk while I'm doing my left eye so that I can just cut out that part and move on to the next color because you've already seen me do it on this eye. Obviously, sometimes I will speed things up as well if I feel like it's something that you might want to see one more time, just a little bit quicker. So yeah, it really just depends. But like I said, if I'm not filming, it always takes me less time than if I am filming, and I feel like that just makes sense. So as you can probably tell, I have quite a bit of fallout on this side, so I'm gonna try to just wipe that away before we go in. Crap. It's one of those days, isn't it? Just one of those days where the fallout sticks to my face. I should have remembered that from last time I used this palette. I mean, it's not terrible. I think I can cover that up with a little bit of highlight. Yeah, let's just move into the next palette. So that's going to be the Fumi palette, and this one has 6 shades. So we're gonna go ahead and generate and see what we get. So we're gonna be using shade number 5. Ooh, so I got very lucky. This is the shade Sisters to Sisters. Sister to Sister. And I'm gonna use that to blend out the first color that I put down. So, I mean, so far we have gotten so lucky. Of course, I could get absolutely screwed and not get any colors to put on my lid and just get like a very, very dark matte. And then I'm gonna look like an idiot, but I don't know. I feel like we're gonna be able to make this work very nicely. But again, it really depends on the shades that I get in the last two palettes. I'm excited though. Like, this is just so fun. Like, if I could actually pull this off and make it look like a look that I would have done without doing it this way, I'd say that we're having a very good day. And I also would like to film something else after this, but you know, sometimes if my looks just aren't that great, I really don't like filming something else after, because then it's just going to be a chatty video and then everyone's going to be looking at my makeup the whole time, and of course I want my makeup to look okay. So it's definitely happened quite a few times that I've planned to film another video back to back, and then I've just kind of decided against it because I don't like how my look has turned out or something like that. And I feel like I can't be the only one who's done that. So I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I do want to go back in with a couple of these shades and just like make sure everything is looking okay, but I'm just gonna put them down for now. Do I want to put this on my lower lash line as well? I feel like I should leave my lower lash line open because we are moving into the Blue Moon palette, and I feel like there's a good chance that whatever I get in the Blue Moon palette, that I'm gonna have to put that on my lower lash line. If it's a matte, I need to have room for another matte here, and I don't really have that on the top part of my lid right now, so I'm gonna leave that open and just see what we end up getting here. So in the Blue Moon palette there are 9 shades, so let's see what we end up getting in the Blue Moon palette. Hopefully it's going to be a shimmer. That would be really nice. So we're gonna use shade number 4, and shade number 4 is a matte, and I just dropped my phone, which is great. So we're gonna go into Starry Eyed, and I am going to put that on my lower lash line because I don't really have a choice. I suppose I could do a cut crease, but I still have room for another shade that's going to be from the Sandra Rose palette. So let's just take a look in this. So obviously, worst case scenario, if I draw something in this palette, is going to be probably this dark purple or this dark brown, because I need to put that on my lid. So I guess whatever I get, I'm gonna probably have to do a cut crease if I get a matte to put that on this lid. But we'll see what happens, we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna go into the blue here, this one, and I'm going to smoke that underneath my eye, and then we're just gonna hope for the best in the last palette and hope that I get something that I can use that's not going to look crazy, but who knows? So I'm definitely gonna have to go back and forth with a lot of these colors because I can already tell that I'm like taking away a lot of that purple just by putting down this blue. I remember from using the Spectral palette that that purple was just not my favorite color, and I wasn't really that impressed by the formula. I know a lot of people love that palette, but I don't know. I wasn't really all that impressed, if I'm being completely honest. Alright, last up, we need to get a shimmer. A shimmer would be amazing. It would just make me so happy, and I feel like all of the shimmers in this palette would actually go pretty nicely with this look. The only one that maybe wouldn't be ideal would be like the darkest one, so this one, but even this one will look really nice. And I could also use whatever I end up using as my face highlight or kind of fade that into that color, so I think I'll be okay. So this one has 15 shades in it, so I'm gonna put in 15 here and just let's pray that we get a shimmer, because I really don't want to do an all matte eye look where I have to do a cut crease because I hate doing that. So let's go ahead and see what we end up getting here. So let's get lucky one time. Shade number 12, 5, 10, 11, 12. That's great. That's just great. So I guess that's what we're doing on the lid, eh? So I'm gonna go ahead and do a cut crease, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put that color on top of that. Is that what I wanna do? I'm actually gonna first go in and just, actually maybe I'm gonna first go back into the Spectral palette, and I'm going to pull that dark color through my crease because I feel like I'm gonna need that to kind of make that green a little bit lighter, if that makes sense, so that the contrast between the two colors look like they make sense here. So I'm gonna use this all the way through here and just make sure that everything is deepened up, and then maybe it's going to look a little bit better. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I feel like I was doing so good, and now I just got so unlucky with that last color. Maybe I'll find some kind of a highlight that I can use as a topper to just lighten that up a little bit. Because I feel like as long as I put all of these colors on my eyes, it's not really cheating if I go in with something over the top because I've still like put all of the colors on my eyes, you know? So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I think it's going to end up looking okay. I'm also going to go back into the first transition shade here and just make sure that I bring this back a little as well. And especially when I'm doing some kind of a cut crease, I always want my crease colors to go up pretty far because I need to cut my crease pretty high up because I have such hooded eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and do my cut crease. I'm going to use my P. Louise base, and like I've said many times before, I'm using this to do a cut crease with because I just don't like using it as a primer, so it's just the only way that I feel like I can really get use out of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my cut crease, and then I'll come back and we can put on that green shade and somehow make it look okay, hopefully. Okay, so the cut crease is done. We're gonna go in with that green shade now from the Glamnatrix palette. This shade is called Leaf. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put that all over where I cut my crease, and then like I said earlier, I think in the end I'm gonna have to end up going over at least the first half of this with some kind of a highlighter that I'm going to use for my face, because we're gonna need to lighten this up a little bit because this is going to look crazy otherwise. What I could also do is put some kind of a glitter liner in my crease. That might actually be a good idea as well, but I think I'm gonna go with the highlight route. I haven't really decided yet. We're gonna have to see how precise I'm able to get this. Okay, so this obviously looks absolutely insane. I am gonna go back into the Spectral palette and grab that dark purple one last time here and just make sure that at least the blend between the green and the purple are looking okay. Before we finish off the eyes, I'm gonna finish off my face because I do want to figure out what highlighter to use. So I'm gonna go in with my Hourglass mini bronzer here. This is in the shade Diffused Light. I really like that. I do already have a little bit of cream bronzer and cream blush on, but I do want to just go over these with a couple of products just so that they stand out a little bit more here. And for my blush, I want to use this one from Anna Sweet. This is one of the spring collection blushes. They did send me this. They only sent me one compact though, so I have the other one like in the actual compact, but this is in the shade 601. It's kind of like a corally blush, and I feel like it's just going to go very nicely with not only my hair, but also pretty okay with this look. So since I already have a bit of a corally blush on, I think this is going to look quite nice. And then I'm thinking what I want to do for highlighter is I want to do something kind of on the yellow side, because yellow is going to layer very nicely over the top of that green and kind of just tie everything together. So I'm thinking I want to use my Kaleidos highlighter because I haven't used that in a while. I'm going to blush my nose a little bit though because I just think it's so cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this highlighter from Kaleidos. This is the Solar Sailor one. Absolutely love this. I'm going to use this to highlight my face, and then I'm also going to layer it over the top of the beginning of this green. I am going to spray my brush when I do that, and I'm also going to wrap it down to my lower lash line as well and kind of blend it into that blue that we have so that it makes a bit of a green. I think this is going to look at least okay in the end. It's going to look a lot better than it does now, that's for sure. This already looks so much better. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna just go back and forth a little bit with the colors that I have on my lid. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of that green just to make sure that the transition between the shimmer and the matte is looking okay. And then I'm also going to go back into my crease shade, just run that through my crease one last time, make sure all of the blends are looking good. And then I'll finish off my eyes, put on some liner and mascara, and probably lipstick as well, and then I'll come back and show you what the completed look ended up looking like, and I think it's going to come together. Alright, so this is the completed look. I really feel like this came together in the end, thank God, because I was worried there for a second when I drew that dark green color. So let's see, what did I do to finish off? I did some liner and mascara. I did this in my waterline. This one is from ColourPop. It's in the shade that I always forget, Electric Daisy. So it's just a beautiful kind of pastel-y green. It's supposed to be a neon green, but it's really not neon. So I feel like that tied in very nicely to what I had on the lid. And then for lips, I used a gloss from Wet n Wild. This one is in the shade Sand Nudes. It's one of their high shine liquid lipsticks. I don't know why they call it a lipstick, because in my mind it's a gloss and it acts and performs just like a gloss, and yeah. So this is the look all done. Let me know if you want to see me do more palette bingos like this, because I love doing them like this because it's such a challenge and it's so fun, and I think that this turned out really good. Do you think it was cheating to pull in that highlighter? Personally, I don't think it was, because I needed it to kind of save the look. I didn't really have a choice. I mean, because it's early in the morning and I still want to wear this look the rest of the day, even if I'm not going anywhere. So that's gonna be it for this palette bingo. If you want to see some other ones, here is my playlist. And if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.